Hi, welcome to day 23, Happy Hips, Dynamic Motion, Juicing Up the Joints. Today will be a bit of a chill class after yesterday. You will need 2 yoga blocks and maybe something to pad the knees if your knees are a bit sensitive. Today we will begin lying on the back in Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined butterfly pose, so get there any way you can. If you have the blocks, you may like to place them either side of the thighs, so bringing the soles of the feet together, blocks on the outside of the hips, allowing the thighs to rest on them. This way it stops the groin being strained. And bring the hands to the belly and interlace the fingers inside each other like this, placing them on the belly, and then start to breathe from the belly. So as you inhale, the belly puffs up, and as you exhale, the belly descends. And you can feel the fingers moving apart as you inhale and then together as you exhale. Just start to focus on the breathing. Big inhales and big exhales. Taking this time to come to the mat, to enjoy the sanctuary that we create in the class. The time just for you, doing something good for your body, for your heart, and for your mind. Bring the awareness to the knife edge of the feet, which is in contact with the earth, the sacrum, that triangular bone at the base of the spine, the shoulder blades, the elbows, and the back of the head. Couple more breaths here. And then very gently take the hands on the outside of the thighs and push them together, coming into what is known as constructive rest. So move the feet to the edge of the mat and allow the knees to knock together. You can place the hands back on the belly for a moment. Just breathing here. Bring the knees in one by one into the chest. Give yourself a little hug, maybe rocking side to side on the sacrum. Place one hand on the underside of each knee. Pull the knees apart towards the armpits. Bring the feet up to the sky as if you're pushing into the sky for happy baby. You may grab behind the hamstrings, or if it's within your reach, the outsides of the feet, bringing the knees close to the armpits as possible. Trying to keep the entire spine on the floor. And we'll breathe here for 5 breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. From this position, release the feet down to the earth with the knees pointing towards the sky. Lift up the left leg, externally rotate the hip, come into a figure 4 with the left leg in the figure 4 shape. You can keep the right foot flat on the earth or use the strength of the thigh to bring it up. You can interlace the fingers behind the right thigh, in front of the right shin, or hold on to the foot, making sure the foot is flexed to protect the knee, and that the movement is coming from the hip joint and not being compensated for at the ankle. Hold in this position, feeling that stretch in the left hip joint, in the outer glute, maybe the outer thigh. Maybe you can bring the leg a little bit closer to the chest, being conscious though that the left knee is moving away and we're open in the hip joint. Bring the arms into a cactus shape. Release the right foot down to the floor, keeping the legs in this shape. Slowly descend this shaped, these legs over to the right side. The left foot should come flat to the earth with the left knee facing upwards. This is a figure 4 twist. You lift the head off the earth, turn it midair and look over the left shoulder if that feels all right on your neck. Breathe here. This is quite a deep stretch, a twist. It feels really good in the hip joint. Being conscious that left knee is pointing up to the sky. Inhale back to the midline. Release the figure 4 leg. Maybe move the knees in and out, side to side for a little bit. And we'll do the second side. Right foot lifts off the floor. Externally rotate the hip and catch the right ankle on top of the left lower thigh. Keeping the foot flexed, keeping this ankle straight. Lifting this leg shape up towards the body. Maybe interlacing behind the left thigh, front of the left shin, or you can just hold on to the leg. Maybe use the elbow to push this right knee away from the body, and that way you really feel it in that right hip. Breathing here in this shape. Being aware the movement is coming from the hip joint and not through sickling the ankle. Sometimes it's nice to close the eyes in these reclined stretches. When we shut out one of the senses, we can really tune into what we are feeling in the body. Even breaths. Bring the arms to cactus. Place the left foot on the floor. Allow this leg shape to fall gently over to the left side of the mat. This time the right foot comes flat to the earth with the right knee up to the sky. Lift the head off the earth. Twist mid-air and look over the right shoulder if that feels okay on the neck. Noticing how that hip feels. This can be a pretty juicy stretch. Inhale, slowly bring the legs back to the midline. Release this right thigh. Bring the knees into the chest. And very slowly start to rock and roll up to seated. We'll come into a cross leg position for a little sequence with the hips. Grab hold of your block. Be aware of what leg is in front. We normally pick the most open side to go in front subconsciously. Sit tall out of the spine, tipping from the hip crease. Come forward over the legs. And I like to use a block here, something to place my hands on as a point of reference. Lengthening the spine, keeping it straight, and descending forward. Noticing how this feels in the outer hips. Breathing deep. Slowly bringing the body up. Turn the body to face the leg that is on the inside. Grab hold of the block. Lengthen on an inhale. As you exhale, start to descend over this leg. And breathe here. You probably really notice a stretch in the opposite hip. Focus breathing. Inhale, come back up. We switch the cross of the legs. This is probably your less open side now in front. I know it is for me. Lengthen out of the waist as you exhale, coming forward again, descending over these hips, not being too attached as to how far forward you come. Maybe you bring your hands to the earth. Breathing into any tightness you feel. Inhale, slowly come up. Rotate to the opposite side, away from the knee that's in front, and descend again over this leg. Feeling it in the opposite hip. I can really feel it in my hip. Breathe here. Inhale, slowly come back up. Put the block to one side. We'll now do something called stirring the pot. Bring both hands onto the knees. As you inhale, come forward with the chest. Roll around to the left side, rolling through the spine, bringing the spine into flexion behind. As you inhale, coming forward into extension over the legs. We'll do this 5 times in each direction. As you're doing this, be conscious of your pelvis and how it's moving around the femur bones. Try and think of the movement as coming from the pelvis. I think this is 4 and 5, and then we go the other way. That's 1. Mindful movements. 2. 3. 4. And 5. Switch the cross of the legs, and we'll do 5 in each direction again. Inhaling forward, then rotating round to one side, through the back, and coming forward again. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we go the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Brilliant. Release the legs, maybe shake them out a little bit. Stretching them straight and rocking them in the hip joint. We'll move into a seated mobility sequence. There'll be several stages of this, and we will gradually progress. We will start with the leaning back on the hands. The feet are flat to the floor, wider than hip distance. Start to bring the knees over to the left side of the mat. So this right leg is in internal rotation and this left leg is in external. We rock through the center and come to the other side. A few of these. So noticing how the femur bones are moving in the joint. You can carry on doing it this way, or maybe you bring the arms up and you sit up, bringing your center of gravity over the pelvis, moving through this. And you might find that you're slowly sneaking forward on the mat, so you can always readjust. You can carry on like this, or the next stage is to come up, come back down, over to the other side, and lift up. May take a bit of maneuvering of the feet to get the right positions. I'm coming forward off of my mat. Couple more. And sit down. Well done. Just stretch the legs out and rotate them again in the hip joint. We will now do a mobility sequence from the knees. I'm going to use my knee pad and I will face you for this so you can see it a bit better, but you can do it on the long edge of your mat. First of all, standing on both knees. I'm then going to bring my left foot forward and descending into this low lunge. So this is what it looks like from the side. The knee can go in front of the ankle, feeling a stretch in this hip flexor here. From here, we descend forward, come back up, move this foot at an angle, diagonal, descend into the hips here, come back up, then it comes out to the side and we descend in there. Again, moving back to the diagonal, coming forward, coming up to the front. That was one round. Got 5 rounds on each side. This is 2. Be mindful of that knee. So it really helps if you pad it up. It does for me anyway. Even though I'm on 3 yoga mats and I've also got this knee pad. Two more of these. This really helps with dynamic flexibility in the hip. Rather than just static stretching, we're moving through a range of motion. This can help us get a little bit deeper. As we use our limbs practically. I believe that was 5. Whoops. And come back to the center, maybe just come off the knees, take a little break. We come back up. This time the right foot comes in front and we descend, whoops, into the hips. coming forward to the diagonal, then to the side, back to the diagonal, to the front. That's one round. Kind of like this move, feels good. That's 2. Three completed, 2 more rounds. And last one. And come back and just sit down on the hips. We'll now move into a more traditional stretch, pigeon pose, Ekapada Rajakapotasana. Hands come just in front of the shoulders. You're on the knees, tuck the toes, come up into downward facing dog. Briefly, sit bones to the sky, spine is long. Inhale, right leg lifts, and exhale, right foot comes forward, close to the left wrist. The knee descends. Walk back with this left leg. Lengthen out of the waist and descend forward. The angle of the front leg depends on the openness of the hip. You want to try and have the shin facing forward. I like to tuck these back toes, walk back, and then release down, making sure that foot stays straight. You can even push into the elbows, give yourself a little bit of leverage to push the hips back. Trying to keep the pelvis facing forward. I like to imagine there is a little baby elephant placing their toe on this left hip, pushing it down to the earth. You can stay with the body elevated like I am on the elbows, or if it feels good, you can descend all the way down. Try to surrender and release. You can always pad up the right cheek if it's really hovering off the earth. And breathe here. One long last deep breath. Gently on an inhale, come back up to the hands. Tuck the back toes. Lift the back knee off the floor. Use the strength of the core to lift this right leg up. And we step back to downward facing dog. Maybe pedal out the legs a little bit. Feeling the blood rushing down that right leg. Lengthen in the spine, sit bones to the sky. And we'll do side B. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, left foot comes forward by the right wrist, left knee by left wrist. Tuck in the back toes, walking back, shin facing forward. Lengthening out of the waist and descending down. Being aware of the position of your pelvis, trying to keep it neutral. You can always pad up this left cheek to neutralize the hips if it doesn't quite reach. Remembering that little baby elephant that's pressing down this time on your right hip, keeping it close to the earth. If it feels good, you can descend all the way down and surrender. We'll be here for 10 more breaths. Take one long last breath. As you inhale, gently come back up, placing the hands under the shoulders, tucking the back toes, lifting the back knee off the floor, using the core to lift this left leg up. And we step back to downward facing dog, pedaling out the feet. Sit bones to the sky, spine is long. Equal weight in all the finger pads and the base of the fingers. And we'll make our way onto the back. Allow the knees to descend down, maybe cross the ankles and roll over them and coming down onto the floor. Placing the feet on the earth with the knees facing towards the sky. Lift the left leg off the floor, externally rotate the hip and bring your leg into this figure 4 shape again with the left foot flexed, the ankle straight and the movement coming from the outer hip. Ground down into this right foot and you may need to readjust, bring it perhaps a little bit closer to the glute. On an inhale, lift up into this single leg bridge with the left leg in figure 4. Arms are flat to the earth. Breathe here for 5 breaths. 1, 2, 3. Allow gravity to help with the knee, opening the hip. Slowly come back down to the earth. Release this left leg and we'll do the other side. Externally rotating the right thigh. Hooking the right foot on the base of the left thigh. Right foot is flexed, ankle is straight. And on an inhale, lift the hips. Figure 4, single leg bridge. 5 breaths. Being conscious of how gravity can help open this right hip. And slowly bring the hips down to the earth. Release the right foot flat to the earth again. Knees are still pointing up towards the sky. From here, lift the left leg up again and hook it over the right knee as if you're going to do a figure 4. Bring the arms to a cactus. And this time, using the strength of the left leg, pull the right inseam of the right leg towards the earth. And come into this twist. The left foot is on the outside of the right knee, using its weight to internally rotate the right thigh, bringing the lower body over to the left side. Lift the head and look over the right shoulder for a twist. Feeling the assistance of gravity here, pushing down that right knee. Maybe feeling it in the right outer hip. Inhale back to the center line. Release the left leg. Pause here for a moment. And then we'll do second side. Right leg lifts. Externally rotate that thigh. Catch the outer ankle on the bottom of the left thigh. Right foot is flexed. Using the strength in the right leg, pull the left knee down towards the earth, so the inner seam of the left leg. Lift the head, look over the left shoulder, and breathe here for this twist. An assisted twist. On an inhale, legs come back to the midline. Release the right foot down to the earth. Realign yourself. Bring the knees in one by one to the chest. Give yourself a little squeeze, a deep compression at the hip joint. Very slowly release one leg at a time, coming into Shavasana. You can do a traditional Shavasana with the body just flop to the floor. Or if you like, you can come back into Supta Baddha Konasana, bringing the soles of the feet together. I like to place my arms overhead, so the legs are in a diamond shape, the arms are in a diamond shape, and press the index fingers together and the thumbs together, making another diamond shape. And relax and breathe here, letting go of everything. If your legs are in butterfly, slowly bring the hands down and press the thighs together. Bring the knees into the chest one by one. We'll all come to this position. Maybe do a couple of knee circles in one direction. And then the other, massaging out the sacrum. Roll over gently to your favorite side. Pause here for a moment. When you feel ready, gently push up to a comfortable seat, keeping the eyes closed. We'll bring the hands face down on the knees to represent grounding. Spine is tall, crown to the sky. Bring the palms to the chest in front of the heart space. Gently flutter the eyes open with a soft gaze, and on an inhale, palms come up to the sky. Full stretch. Palms down the midline. One more time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. Thank you for practicing day 23 with me. I hope your hips feel super juicy and good. And I'll see you again tomorrow for day 24. Thank you.